to put your hands together for the founder of the Black Math Academy, Mr. Oneil Barnaby.
Yeah, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Yo, what's good,
My
man?
guy.
How you doing out there?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, we appreciate you for being a part of Spotlight over the city. First of all, I want to say that. And wait, did we lose my guy?
No, I don't know where
No,
he went.
I'm
We're
Okay,
still here.
cool. All right, let's
Thank
go.
you so much. Welcome to Spotlight Over the City. Let's get right into it. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Can you tell us a little bit about, let's get into this Black Math Academy. Tell us about the journey and where this all came from.
And yeah, give me a little bit about it though. What is
Okay,
the Black
so
Math Academy?
I was working for a previous tutoring company when I graduated college, and I noticed that when it came to teaching mathematics, that they weren't really making an effort to bring in Black students specifically. I've been working there for about 5 years, and on one hand, I could count how many Black students I personally tutored myself, and I'm like, nah, I can't have that. So put my ear to the streets and really studied the game in terms of how tutoring works, the business side of it, and was able to build my own, and thus was the birth of the Black Math Academy.
I love it. I love it. So, first of all, I love the fact that you addressed that you didn't see your own skin in those situations, and that's where it was born. See, a lot of times we live in those situations and we don't do anything to make the change. So salute to you for that. That's a big deal. And so where do you see it going forward, though? How do you multiply that situation?
Oh, well, the goal is my motto, so to speak, is to rebuild intelligent Black society through mathematics. That's actually my official motto for the company. And I'm doing so by taking over the East Coast first. So I'm kind of going up and down I-95, Maryland, D.C., New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, and trying to establish the Black Math Academy as like the go-to premier place for mathematics tutoring for Black people as a group. So I attended events like where we met at the Black Business Expo in Maryland.
Yep.
Just kind of passing the hat around and making sure people get to know me. But more importantly, it's the results. So as I bring in students and they see the benefits of actually learning the mathematics, not just through grades, but also through day-to-day life at the same time, they then tell their friends. That's where the multiplication starts to come in.
Got you.
I love it.
So one of the questions is why math? Like of all things, like you have a lot of different curriculum. Why math?
Well, mathematics is the universal language. No matter what language you speak, no matter where you are on the planet, everybody understands how mathematics works. Even the language itself, when you understand the meaning of the word algebra, it means the reunion of broken parts. The word calculus, it means small stone, meaning like an abacus, the small stones you use to slide across the abacus to count. That's what calculus means. So why I chose mathematics is because it's literally infected into every area of activity that we engage in. I've yet to see anybody prove me wrong in the sense where mathematics is not used. So as such, I try to make it a point for my students to make sure I apply mathematics to real world events, real world things, real world jobs, careers, so that I stop hearing the phrase, I'm never going to use mathematics ever again.
And I promise you, I can raise my hand right now as a young Black man and say I used that phrase in school when I was taking geometry. I asked my geometry teacher, when am I going to ever use geometry? And she looked at me and said, every day, son, every day. And so I see what you're saying. I get it. I was one of those people that couldn't relate. I couldn't equate the two.
Okay, I'll do you one better than that. So you said geometry. I've heard this as well. So when it comes to construction, so certain buildings, a lot of buildings have right angles for their rooms. And one phrase you might hear on the construction site is the 3, 4, 5. That's what they would say. That phrase means the 3, 4, 5 right triangle. So those are the dimensions that prove a right angle in a shape. So you measure 3 feet or whatever the length is on one side, measure 4 feet or whatever the length is on one side. There's your right angle. You've just proven it right there.
There it is. And so that makes sense. So to the young kid, how do you get that in their head? Like for somebody sitting in your classroom and they come there and they already kind of geeked on math, but then they don't see the actual significance and how to apply it to their everyday life going forward. How do you show that? Because you just showed it to us. How do you show them in that class? This is why math is important.
Okay. So what I have made it a point to do on my platform is I'm just a guy who knows mathematics, basically. So I'm not in every career, in every field where mathematics is used personally, so I wouldn't know like the specifics of that. So I follow other people who are in these fields, who are in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, art, or anything in between, and straight up ask them, what do you do when it comes to mathematics day to day as you perform your jobs? So I get gamed up. They tell me, how exactly it works, what mathematics concepts they use, and then I relay the information on my platform to my audience so that they actually can see it for themselves. This is what an architect does when it comes to mathematics. This is what someone who works for NASA does when it comes to mathematics. This is what someone who designs dresses uses mathematics for. So now they can see straight up how mathematics is used. To give you a more practical example, so a lot of us have been young at one point, and we've been to the club before, and you actually use mathematics when you go to the club as well. So I'll give you an example. Let's say to get into the door, the cover charge is $20, let's just say. And once you walk in the door, the drinks you want to buy, let's say they cost $8 a pop. Well, using that information, I can then create an equation that can figure out how much money you need to bring to the club so you can afford it. So it'd be $20 rather for the charge, plus $8 times the number of drinks you're going to buy. That equation then gives you how much you need to spend to afford those things. So now you know how much money to bring, so therefore you won't go in broke.
Right.
Got you.
Okay.
Makes sense. So that was a good equation to give to the youngsters. See, that's what I was talking about. Like, that was perfect, so they can equate that. So I get you. So you are a math lover because I see your passion when you speak. I can tell that you're speaking from the heart. I can tell that you really get into your students and you really want them to get it, and so they do. And so thank you. I want to say thank you.
Thank you so much for offering this.
And so real quick.
I appreciate you for bringing me on and asking me these questions, man. These are great, and more people need to be aware of this information so they can finally get involved with this field that I love so much, because it's everywhere. And without this particular piece of knowledge, man, you're really going to be behind the 8 ball.
So we got to wrap. Not to be rude, we got to wrap. But before we wrap, I got to end you with this. Before we wrap, I want to make sure you give them your information to follow you. But you got 1 hour. You get ready. You had a great day. Your students are doing well, and you're going to celebrate. It's a 1 hour ride. You got one artist you can listen to. Who is it? You can't change. Once you put them in, it could be a group or an artist. Who is it? 1 hour. 1 hour.
1 hour, I would say Lupe Fiasco.
That's different. But I like him. Okay.
Lupe Fiasco.
Okay, I got you.
Haven't heard him yet. Meaning I haven't heard someone say that yet, but I do like him, a few of his songs.
Yeah, so that's
absolutely.
dope. I get it.
He really changed how hip hop is oriented. He really brought back a lot of old school concepts. He brought it back to the origins of hip hop too, in terms of lyricism and our Africanness. He brought that back too. And he's just brilliant at the same time.
Positive music. So
brilliant.
On that note, how can they follow you and make sure they stay linked in?
All right, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at The Black Math Academy. I do have a website, theblackmathacademy.com. Those are all the places where you can find me and contact me. Yes, that's how you can reach me.
That's it.
And that's the best way for people to support you is to sign up, like on your website. The best way for you to get support on this journey is by going to your website?
All three of them. As long as you can contact me, you can support me that way by just emailing me from my website or just contact in general. Email, phone call, text message, all the ways people contact people these days. I respond to all of that.
Thank you so
Oneil,
much.
We appreciate you much, brother, man. And I want to say congrats in advance on everything that you got going on. And even in the future, I know you're going to be doing some amazing things. So you will be that go-to guy, and we'll be looking forward to bringing you back, all right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Y'all put your hands together
it up one more time for my
Oneil Barnaby, the Black
in the
Math
building.
Academy. Yes. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the general?
Are y'all ready for our next guest? Y'all ready for our next guest?
We'll be right back.
Yeah, now y'all sound ready. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Spotlight over the city.
Spotlight.